You drop this, the waitress said softly, placing a golden locket on the corner of the table. The billionaire glanced up, distracted, his phone still in his hand. But the moment his eyes landed on the locket, his entire body stiffened. He reached for it quickly, his fingers trembling in a way no one in the glittering restaurant had ever seen. The waitress's breath caught her eyes glued to the tiny photo behind the glass frame. Her lips parted, but the words stumbled out louder than she meant. "That's my mom!" The billionaire froze his hand, gripping the locket so tightly it shook. The hall seemed to vanish, the laughter, the clinking glasses, the music, all drowned in a silence that pressed heavy. He looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time, the same eyes, the same smile hidden behind years of struggle. The waitress's hands shook as she whispered again, That's my mum, isn't it?" His throat tightened, his lips parting, but no sound came, only the ache of a memory buried too deep. The guests watched, confused, murmurs spreading, but neither of them noticed. The billionaire's mask cracked as tears welled at the corners of his eyes, spilling down his face before he could stop them. His voice finally broke, raw and trembling. "She was the only woman who ever saved me, and I lost her forever." The waitress's knees felt weak. She gripped the edge of the table to steady herself. Her heart hammered louder than the whispers rising around the room. She stared at the billionaire's tear-streaked face, searching for answers she never expected to find. "Tell me," she said, her voice shaking, "how do you have that locket?" The billionaire pressed the gold piece to his chest, as if it were the only thing keeping him upright. His eyes dropped to the floor, shame dripping from every tear. "She gave it to me when I had nothing," he whispered. "I was young, broke, and angry at the world. She took me in, fed me, spoke to me like I was worth saving. I promised her I would never forget her. But I did. I walked away." The waitress's throat closed. Her mother had told her stories of a broken man who used to sit at their kitchen table, a man she helped without asking for anything in return. She never said his name, never mentioned the fortune he built. She only said he left and never came back. The billionaire lifted his head, finally daring to meet the waitress's gaze. "I searched for her for years, too late. Every door I knocked on was already closed. I never thought I'd see her face again until you placed this locket in front of me, and I saw her eyes in yours." The waitress blinked back, tears, confusion, and anger colliding inside her. "Why didn't you come back? Why didn't you at least try?" He opened his mouth, but no words came, only the sound of a man breaking in front of the world for the first time. The billionaire sank back into his chair, his shoulders trembling, under a weight money could never lift. The locket dangled from his hand, catching the chandelier, light like a wound that refused to close. The waitress stood frozen, torn between fury and sorrow, her voice trembling. "You left her when she needed you most. You left me." The words hit harder than any slap. His chest tightened, and for a moment he could not breathe. His lips moved slowly, as if forcing truth through stone. "I didn't know about you. I never knew she had a daughter." His hands covered his face as sobs broke free. Raw and unguarded, the room gasped. No one had ever seen him like this, stripped of power and pride. The waitress's eyes burned. She remembered nights her mother worked 2 jobs, her hands cracked from washing dishes just to keep them afloat. She remembered her mother whispering that kindness was never wasted, even when it hurt. She never imagined that the man from those stories sat weeping before her now. He lowered his hands. his eyes red, searching hers like a drowning man reaching for air. I can't undo the past, but if you let me, I will spend the rest of my life honoring the woman who saved me and the daughter she left behind. Her chest heaved a storm, raging inside anger, fighting against the ache in her heart. She wanted to scream at him to walk away, but when she saw the locket pressed against his trembling fingers, she heard her mother's voice echoing in memory, "Forgive when you can, because hate will only chain you." Tears blurred her vision as she stared at the man who had once vanished from her mother's life, yet still carried her locket like a wound. He never let heal. The billionaire's voice cracked each word, stumbling out like a confession. I thought wealth would silence the pain, but every dollar only made it louder. I built towers, I bought empires, but none of it filled the space she left. The waitress's chest ached, her hands trembling as she whispered, "You could have come back. You could have looked harder." His lips trembled, I did, and every door was shut by the time I had the courage to knock. I failed her, and I failed you. He lowered, his head tears dripping onto the table until the gold chain of the locket shimmered in a small pool of salt water. The room was still no whispers, no gasps, only the weight of two lives colliding across years of silence. Slowly the waitress reached forward, her fingers brushing the locket. Her voice steadied, though her heart shook. "Maybe you cannot give me back the years, but you can give me the truth. Say it now, say it so I know my mother's kindness was not wasted." His eyes lifted to hers, and he spoke with a raw honesty that stripped him bare. "She was my savior, and you are her legacy. If you let me, I will never walk away again." She felt her throat close, but for the first time she didn't pull her hand back. The locket hung between them, not as a chain of guilt, but as a fragile bridge of something new. If this story moved, you share it, so others never forget that one selfless act can rewrite a destiny in ways no one sees coming.